Hello, everybody, and welcome back to 50 Shades of Tay. I'm Taylor Gonzalez, and one of my favorite shows this entire year is Agatha All Along. I am obsessed with it. I can't get enough of it. And I have a very special guest. The director of episodes 3, 4, and 5, Rachel Goldberg, is here today. Rachel, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for including me. I'm so excited that I don't have to keep the secrets anymore.
That was actually the first thing I was going to ask you because I know Marvel. I've talked to a lot of people who work on Marvel projects, Star Wars projects. They can't talk to even like their family, their friends. How does it feel to now that the show is completed, be able to talk about it without having to worry about spoiling anything or getting in trouble?
It's such a huge relief. It is such a huge relief. And everybody was like, while it was airing, like, oh my God, is Rio death? I'm like, I can't answer that. Is Teen Wiccan? I can't answer that. Like, but just constant, like, I want to answer. I want to tell you everything, but I cannot. Just keep watching.
My gosh, I cannot believe the cast of this show because, whoever was in charge of casting could have just stopped and said, we have Kathryn Hahn, an icon, a queen. That's enough to, draw the audience in. But then they went and got Aubrey Plaza, who is like one of the funniest people on the entire planet. They got Joe Locke, who I am obsessed with Heartstopper. It's like, I don't know, one of the most amazing shows and emotional shows I've ever seen on Netflix. And he's perfect casting. I cannot believe it. And then Patti LuPone, another icon. Like the casting just goes on and on and on. How did you react when you were told, hey, this is the cast that you get to work with?
I was thrilled. I was absolutely thrilled. I mean, they're legendary. They're so brilliant and so amazing. Catherine, obviously, when anybody ever asks, like, what's the tone of the show? Jack's response is the tone is Kathryn Hahn. And it's so true, because she hits every single note. Like, she's just such a phenomenal actress and the depth and the layers and the nuance. So that was already a dream. And then I was a huge fan of Aubrey Plaza's, and she's everything you would hope she would be. She's just so fun and she brings so much spontaneity and creativity to the role. And I'm happy to talk about some of the choices she made that were just wonderful. And Sasheer, like I was a fan of hers from her television shows and SNL and getting to work with her. And she is just a pure love. And Allie and I had worked together briefly on Raising Dion years before. So it was wonderful getting to work with her. Joe, I was also a huge fan of Heartstopper. So wonderful to see him flex a completely different muscle and to like lean into the comedy. And just he brings so much innocence and so much joy and also depth and like gravitas. So that was awesome. Debra Jo,
Oh my
like,
gosh.
oh my God, the best of the best of the best. Am I forget? Oh, and Patty. Oh my God, Patty. How can you forget Patty? I mean, she's a legend. And she and Deborah, they may be women of a certain age, but they go harder than anybody else. Like so hard. Deborah wanted to go down the slide and for the Goonies moment, she's like, no, I'm doing that myself. And we're like, are you sure, Deborah Jo? And she's like, yeah. And Patty, like, we would be filming, and as soon as we'd wrap, that weekend, she would fly out to do a performance and then come back in time to work again Monday morning. Like, I've never seen anything like it. It was just, yeah, they're a dream. They're all a dream. And the
Oh,
Salem Seven, those women are
yeah.
so phenomenally talented. I mean, I could spend all day just creating art with them. They're
Mm.
so lovely and so talented. So yeah, the cast was a dream for sure.
I just couldn't believe it. I was like, any one of those people you just mentioned could have led their own Marvel series, but to put them all together in one show, and what I loved about it was everyone had their own moments to shine. It didn't feel like overcrowded or, oh, we didn't get enough of this character or that person's story. It just flowed together so nicely, and the chemistry between all the different actors was just great. And it really like shined through their relationship that you could tell that they had behind the scenes really showed in the show. And one of my favorite things following all the actors on social media is getting to see the behind the scenes like pictures and videos. And the funniest thing on the whole planet is the prosthetics for the Botox and like the swollen face look. How did you react when you saw that for the first time?
It was so fun. None of us could keep a straight face. Like it was hysterical. It was hysterical. Like Sasheer, like Sasheer trying to say like these various very serious things about the poison while her face is all like completely swollen. Debra Jo like playing it so straight. Patti with her line of like, I kind of like it. Like they were just it was so much fun and they were so funny. And it was a challenge because we did everything practically. And Kathryn's character, Agatha, is delayed with her prosthetic. So we had to shoot it in such a way that like we pick up Kathryn later because she's not going to be in prosthetics. And it took so many hours to get them all made up. But it was really fun. It was really fun, but very hard to keep a straight face.
Oh my gosh. I cannot tell you how thankful I am that you guys did that practically because I swear if you were to go through my channel and watch, I think the number one thing I say is I love practical effects and the makeup, the hair, the prosthetics. It really adds like a layer to shows and to movies of like I don't know, just making it more immersive and making it more tangible. So we would not have had those reactions of them trying to eat and speak it like while getting their hair and makeup done if it was all CGI. So I'm so glad that that was done practically.
Yeah, it was very, very cool. And my background from 100 years ago is theater. So getting to do things practically was awesome. And obviously it's going to get a very different reaction out of the actors. Like the flooding in episode 3, we flooded that kitchen. So I was wearing galoshes and I had like the like a whole suit to go in and give notes and like talk to the crew and talk to my actors. And we had to plan it so specifically because you can only get them fully wet once.
Mhm.
So figuring out how we're going to cover it. And we had to keep them warm. So one side of the set was all heat tanks. So we had to figure out how we're going to shoot that we don't show that side. So it provided a lot in terms of challenges, but it also just made it so much richer and so much more delicious. So I was very excited when I was brought on, and Mary Lavanos, the EP, was like, "We're going to do this all practically," and I was like, "Yes, let's do this practically."
So thankful that that happened. I just love it so much. And yeah, just if you guys aren't already following all of the actors from the show on Instagram, you have to go look because there's been so many fun behind the scenes, like pictures and videos. And I think it's just so fun. Do you know actually if there will be one of those making of episodes coming out soon for Agatha? Oh, there will. Okay.
I
Because
assume so. Yeah, they filmed a lot of behind the scenes the whole time, so I'm pretty sure they're gonna post something. I don't know. I mean, they did it for every single episode, and to cut it down to a half hour, I don't know how you do that, but I'm sure there will be something. Yeah.
yeah, I can't wait just to see. I did see the other day on YouTube, there was a video of all of the actors getting to walk around the set for the first time, the Witches Road. And I was like, oh, that was all practical. And just to see everyone like picking up the leaves and looking at the textures. And it's so nice to see that
I
it
was
wasn't
there that
all,
day.
oh,
Yeah, it was wonderful. It was really powerful. And like I had seen it, but getting to see it with the cast and just their reaction, because we do live in a world. I do a lot of like shows that are spectacle based and have a lot of VFX. And so being in a space that like is all real and
mm,
tactile and you can touch everything like the dirt and the leaves and the trees. And John Collins was our production designer, and that entire art department, like the attention to detail, the amount of work that they did. And like we mapped out because it was a giant stage, but we had to reuse it over and over again. So we had to flip colors and we had to flip leaves and we had to map and all of our paths in such a way that it doesn't look like it's the same thing for every episode. Like it was really cool, very
mm.
challenging, but really cool. And it was so awesome just seeing the cast react.
Oh, that is so fun.
Yeah.
So this series released weekly. There was a two-episode premiere and then a two-episode finale. I was curious, as the episodes were releasing weekly, did you have friends over, family over, any viewing parties or anything like that?
I did for I waited. Well, what was cool was when they did the premiere, like the big Agatha premiere, they also showed episode 3, which doesn't typically happen. Usually they'll show the first two, but maybe because they're short or maybe because they want to show the direction that it's going with the trials. So that was really cool getting to watch it on a big screen at the Chinese Man with like lots of fans and cast and crew. That was very special. And then I waited until 5, the night that 5 dropped, and I invited a lot of cast and crew and friends to come over, and we did a viewing party at my house, which was great. And yeah, and then I got to watch the finale with Sasheer, which was super cool. And Jack did a screening where she showed 4 and 5. So like there were lots of various viewing parties. And then um, there's a place called Scum and Villainy in LA, which I had not heard of, and they were hosting weekly viewing parties. So Kevin, who runs it, invited me to come and do a viewing of. We did 5 and 6 that night, and the Salem 7 came like that. So there's been a lot. You don't usually get to with television. You don't usually have this sort of like fandom where
Mhm.
there's an opportunity to continue watching with an audience. And film, you watch with an audience, but TV, it like goes out into the ether, and you never know how people are going to respond. But it's been so cool watching with an audience and hearing where they laugh and where they gasp, and it's been really awesome.
Oh, that is so fun. I haven't been to Scum and Villainy yet either, but I'm dying to go. And I didn't know. I wish I knew they were doing weekly watch parties because I was like, this is the perfect show, especially because it was like leading up to Halloween. I was like, I would love to go watch it somewhere. That would have been so fun.
I'll put you in touch with Kevin just
Oh my
as
gosh,
we're
yes.
offline. But yeah, no, it was, I had no idea that they do it either. And it was super cool. And there was someone who worked in the editing department. Her name's Maria Frisian. I'm probably mutilating her last name because I don't really know how you pronounce last names. And she's so awesome. And she was like, Rachel, I reached out to Scooby and he was like, you should do an Agatha watch party. And no one got back to me. And then I find out they're doing an Agatha watch party. So yeah, it was really, really cool. It was so much fun.
Oh, that is so cool. How did you get involved with directing 3 episodes of Agatha?
So I mean, there was through my reps, we heard that they were looking for directors. My team submitted me. And then I was yeah, I was actually supposed to do more, but there was a scheduling conflict, so I only did 3. But it was I had to really pitch. I had to like put decks together for all of the episodes, and I had to pitch to Jack and Mary. And then once they liked my pitch, I had to pitch to Kevin and Luis Diaz-Esposito. Again, I'm
Mhm.
off with last names, and so like a lot of the big head honcho Marvel people. And then I was fortunate enough that they selected me. But yeah, it was a multi-tier process. Usually in television, there's like, either it's like offer only where they just call and they make an offer. And sometimes for something higher profile like this, you'll have to meet with people. But you don't usually put together decks and pitch unless it's a pilot or a feature. So for something like this, to have to put together decks and be like, this is my vision for every episode, that was really awesome because it meant I was going to have ownership off of these episodes. And working on Wanda, like working on watching WandaVision as a viewer and seeing how every episode had its own style and its own look and paid homage to the eras of sitcom, I was really excited that I was going to get to pay homage to different eras of like witchcraft
Yeah.
and horror and supernatural. So that was very, very exciting to me. And I was lucky to have a lot of creative freedom and an amazing team to be able to sort of like set the look and the language and all of that for each of those episodes.
Oh, that's so cool. So there were 3 directors total. Each did 3 episodes. And I was just curious what the collaboration process is like when there's 3 directors working on a show like this. And also, how much of the twists and turns of the future episodes after yours did you know when you were working on your episodes?
I knew everything.
Okay.
You have the scripts because you sort of need to know where it's going so that you can, plant the seeds without hopefully giving too much away. Like when Agatha says, to Teen, like, I didn't know you had it in you in
Mhm.
episode 4, like, I need to know what that relates to. And I need to break down my scripts and understand my characters and their journeys. So that was very important. In terms of collaborating, I mean, there isn't a ton of collaboration because we're all working at the same time. Like Jack was directing 1 and 2 while I was prepping 3, 4, and 5. And then when I was shooting, then Ganja was in prep. So we would talk and we would see each other and Jack would be on set. But primarily you're each sort of doing your own thing because just the way that television is set up, that we're all literally working at the same time.
That's crazy, but I am glad you brought up like the foreshadowing that was in this series because this show is unlike a lot of other shows because of the reveal at the end, where now when you rewatch this show, so many things are going to have alternate meanings and like make a lot more sense to people because there were things that like what you just said about Agatha saying, I didn't know you had it in you, and like this suits you perfectly, stuff like that. it didn't really make sense at the time, but I just figured it was like her way of trying to, just say his type of magic or something like that. But then with the reveal that it was all him, I was just like, oh my gosh, now I have to go back and I have to just look at it with a different lens. And that's such a fun thing to get to rewatch and see what foreshadowing there was and, who knew what and how did they figure it out. So cool.
It's very cool. A lot of people have said they're going to go back and rewatch everything. And then there's clues like our designer, Daniel Selon, like he put clues in all of the costumes. And then there's clues in all of the production design. And yeah, it's really, really, really fun. I can't remember now if the line stayed in the cut or not, because it may have tipped its hand too much. But when they first enter the road in episode 3, there's a moment where Teen says, "Oh, it's exactly how I imagined it." And Agatha says, "Yes, it's very on the nose." And it's like, oh, like she sort of suspects that he may have created this because obviously the road didn't exist. She made it up. But I don't know if that actually ended up staying in the cut or not. I can't remember.
I don't
But
know
it'll
if
be cool
that
when you go
line.
back and watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember the line of her saying it suits you. And I was like, oh, that's interesting because now I'll have to go back and watch it. But you just mentioned the costume designer, Daniel. I have an interview with him next week. I
Oh,
was like blown away by the costumes. Each episode, like you said, like pays homage to different eras of horror or spooky things, or even like the episode where they were Maleficent and Glinda. I was like blown away. So I reached out to him instantly and I was like, these costumes are incredible. I, number one, wish I could see them in person because the detail and like you said, he was hiding, little hints into the costumes. Was there, it doesn't necessarily have to be an episode you directed, but in the overall series, was there like a set or an era of costumes that was your favorite?
episode 4 is my favorite. I love the like Stevie Nicks and like, 60s, 70s occult horror. My favorite films are like Carrie and Rosemary's
Oh yeah.
Baby. And getting to pay homage to those was awesome. And the language, the visual language in that era is so fun with like the snap zooms and like, there's just so much freedom and so much play. So and I got to do a song in that episode. So and it was like the Rio reveal in that episode. And
Mhm.
it's when we see Agatha and Rio come together for the first time. Like there was so much that was my favorite about that episode.
Oh, so fun. If you found yourself on the witch's road and you had to take charge in one of the trials, which one do you think you would be best suited for, or which one do you think you would want to take as a leader?
That's a really good question. Huh. I'm gonna have to say, oh, this is tricky. Hmm. Maybe the tarot. I do feel like I've
Okay.
got like a little bit of witchy sixth sense. So maybe the tarot. And that one was fun because I did get to shoot some of the stuff for that. Like,
Oh, cool.
the tarot images of like when we see Kathryn with Teen and then it flashes to the card and Jen when she says hello, because a lot of that stuff happened during my episode. So that was fun to
Oh,
shoot and getting to design those tarot cards to sort of match those images. That was really fun. So I'm gonna go with that because I do have a bit of a sixth sense and can sometimes tell when things are gonna happen before they're gonna happen. And yeah, I'll go with
oh,
that.
that'd be very fun. And
Yeah.
then you mentioned the song. So the first time I heard the Ballad of the Witch's Road, I was like, oh, this is a catchy song. The next time I heard it, I was like, oh, I like this song. Now I've listened to it like 10 times today alone while I was trying to find my purple Agatha bandana and like get everything ready. I can't stop. And I don't sing, but I've been singing it. And my boyfriend, he's not here right now, but I'm driving him nuts because I can't stop. Did that happen for you as well? Did this song just get stuck in your head?
Oh my God, it's such an earworm. It's like the Lopez's are brilliant. And I got to be there the day that they recorded it, and
Oh,
watch each of the singers go in and do their part. Like it was really magical watching the Lopez's do their thing. And then, yeah, when they mixed it all together and we heard it, everyone was sobbing. It's amazing. But yes, I could not get it out of my head. And then, for 4, we had to be so exact. Like our schedule was very, very tight. So I needed to know exactly how I was going to shoot the music
mm,
video. And I had storyboarded it. And then my wonderful post team, like David Egan and Maria again, And I had Libby was my editor on 3 and Jamie was my editor on 5 and the entire team, like the whole post team was so special. But David and Maria worked to help me cut sort of an animatic where we took the storyboards and we put it to the song. And so then the song was definitely in my head the entire time, but we had to do that. So yeah, there was a good year where that was just on loop. And again, to your point, like I'm like singing it at home and my family's like, what are you singing? And I'm like, oh, nothing, nothing. You never heard, I don't know. Song? No, there's no song.
Oh my gosh. I love the song. It charted on the Billboard charts, which is so crazy. They're
Crazy.
releasing a vinyl record of it, which I have to get. I don't know if pre-orders have started yet, but I'm gonna, as soon as pre-orders are out, I'm gonna go and order it. I just can't get enough of that song.
Amazing. Amazing. It's really good. It's really good. I know they should have done like just a whole Agatha album.
Oh my gosh, I know. And then we also are getting a tarot deck of cards. I can't wait. I think those
Yeah.
come out next year, but I'm gonna have to get those and I'm gonna have to learn because I don't know anything about it, but it just seems really fun.
It's so cool. And yeah, Brittany Horn designed them. Like she was drawing
Yeah.
them. It was I read that. I saw that they're doing a whole deck based on her designs, which is so cool. So cool.
Yeah. What a cool, I don't know, like collectible to have for Agatha
Yes.
fans.
Yes, for sure.
So as we mentioned earlier, episode 5 is an 80s throwback episode. It involves a Ouija board and a ghost, and it takes place in a haunted house. Have you ever been anywhere haunted yourself, and do you believe in ghosts?
This is a tricky one. I think in like spirits and that like people who have passed over can communicate with us. Like they can protect us, they can speak to us in dreams. But I don't necessarily believe in ghosts. And I think that's only because the concept terrifies me. If I allow myself to believe it, I'll start to feel it. So I'm like, no ghosts, no ghosts, there are no ghosts. But I was shooting Cloak and Dagger in Louisiana, and I did feel like the hotel I was staying in was completely haunted. Like it was very creepy crawly. Um, but yeah, I have to tell myself that ghosts don't exist or I'll go crazy. Yeah.
So not everybody made it out of the Witch's Road alive. So this next question could count as a prequel or a sequel. But if there was a character from Agatha All Along that you were able to do a prequel or a sequel series about, is there a character that you have in mind that their story you would like to continue or tell before they passed away?
All of them. So just from the ones who passed away.
Sure, we
I
can
mean,
do one of the ones that passed away.
it's all delicious. I'd love to know more about Sasheer's character Jen, and what happened to her and how she became bound, and that it was Agatha who did it, and then her rise to like, goop fame, goop-esque fame, but also, Patty's character, Lilia,
Yeah.
is the oldest and has lived through so much, and that's so rich and powerful. And then Allie is the most modern and
Mhm.
her relationship with her mom, like it's all delicious. I'm also just really hungry more for the Salem 7. Like
Yeah.
I would love a Salem 7 spinoff.
Oh my gosh, me too. Because yeah, when they are walking down the streets and their formation and just their movements and the different creatures they transform into, I can't get enough of that. I would love to see a series about that as well.
Yeah, I had so much fun filming their transformations, and then it didn't all make it in, which broke my heart. But it was okay because I had had my way, it would have been like 5 minutes, and I know that we can't do that. But it's just they're so fun and they're so creepy. Yeah,
So I have a question, and it is in all caps because this is something that I am dying to know. The Mephisto reference. When WandaVision was airing, weekly, the theories about Mephisto being behind it all were insane. It was every news article, every, tweet was about Mephisto. So then we get to Agatha All Along, and Sasheer, I think, was the one who name dropped him in, I believe, episode 3 or 4. It was when they were in the house
great.
with the one. Yeah. What can you tell me about that name drop?
I mean, I think it was there to sort of because there is such a desire in the fans to know more about Mephisto. And I think it's very sincere when Jen's character is like, we don't know what happened to Agatha's child. And
Mhm.
we don't know, like, is Agatha like, mixed up with Mephisto? She probably is. Like, she's really just like spinning the rumor mill. And I think in that moment, what we talked about is that it's both she's trying to protect Teen, but she's also jealous that Teen reveres Agatha. And
Mhm.
Jen's like, you should revere me. Like, I'm the one to worship. Why are you following Agatha around? So I think there's a little bit of that. Like, be careful where you put your loyalties and your allegiances. Um, and then, yeah, just from a story perspective, I think Jack was probably trying to like service the fans, but
Mhm.
also I know she's not fully interested in the Mephisto storyline. So it was like, I'll give you a little, but I'm not giving you a lot. And it might still come out. Like
Mhm.
we don't know where Nicholas came from. We don't
Right.
know.
That's
We don't
true.
know. We
Yep.
just know that Agatha created him from scratch. But what does that mean?
Hmm.
So,
Oh, very interesting. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know how much you know about Fortnite, but I'm obsessed with Fortnite. And this season of Fortnite was a Halloween season, and they released Mephisto in the game because there was like a Marvel collaboration. So there was the name drop in Agatha, there was Mephisto in Fortnite. I was like, what are the odds that like this, two drops of Mephisto at once? So I think he's coming eventually.
he might be. I mean, Kevin Feige would know, not me.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean, it would be pretty cool if I'd be excited to see Mephisto and
Mhm.
learn more about him. So,
I
yeah.
can I cannot wait. And then my last question for you, I just was wondering if you have a favorite witch from pop culture. So it could be from a movie or a comic book, a television show.
Hmm. A favorite witch from pop culture. I'm going to give you an answer, and then later I'm going to be like, no, that's not the witch. Um, hmm. I'm gonna go with Carrie. She probably wouldn't define herself as a witch, but
Mhm.
she's probably my favorite. She has all this innate power that she didn't even know that she had, um, and she just wanted to be loved. She just wanted to be loved.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. No, I think that's
Yeah.
a good answer. Yeah, because I don't know what else you would really classify Carrie as. I think a witch is a good classification for her because of the powers and everything like that.
Yeah.
But Rachel, I just, before we go, wanted to say thank you so much for this incredible series that number one is just so fun to watch, but also it's a show that we need right now. It focuses on very strong and powerful women, and there's a lot of great LGBTQ plus representation in the show. So to you and all the cast and crew, writers, everybody, this is just a very needed show right now. So thank you so much. And just congratulations on this incredible series, and I cannot get enough of it.
Well, thank you so much. It was an honor being a part of it and getting to celebrate all of that representation. And it was also awesome just talking to you. Like we never
Oh,
get to talk about the work, so I appreciate it. Thank you so, so much.
thank you. If people want to follow you and keep up with your upcoming projects, where would be a good place for them to come and check you out?
I primarily post on Instagram just under Rachel Goldberg Director. So
Perfect.
Rachel and then Goldberg, Goldberg, Director.
Cool. Thank you so much, Rachel, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.